guess I kind of had a turning point in when I was graduating graduate school. I had kind of the option to move back to Atlanta or stay in Los Angeles. And for quite some time, I didn't know exactly which one of those decisions which route I was going to take in terms of where I was going to be and what exactly I wanted to do. Didn't really want to stay in a hospital setting. And so I just had to get very creative with the way that I was, maneuvering my skill sets and kind of like Breanna just discussed, like I like to pride myself on being a problem solver. So it's just kind of like eyeing what types of roles are involved in sport on a day-to-day basis and seeing like how you can apply your skill to them to help them solve problems, thinking outside of the box, considering different things. So I'd say that turning point for me definitely came when I graduated graduate school and just kind of had to decide like where I wanted to put my stake in the ground and in what field, right? Like, did I want to stay in a more medicine heavy background or go more sports heavy? Because I knew I was capable of doing both. I think, my family has always and was supportive of the decision that I ultimately made. I sometimes think that they wish that I would go back and get a PhD at some point in life, but I reached a point where I was like, I'm ready to apply. Like as you get older, you'll realize in your schooling that you learn so much and you get to this point where you're kind of like, I need to apply that. I want to apply that to something. I want to see it in action. And just knowing that it was just time to kind of step away from the books. I don't say that like to say that I don't, explore and try to learn more at this point in my career, but it was just kind of time for me to step away from the books and get more into the application of things.
Yeah, I definitely understand that part. Breanna?
Yeah, and if I could just piggyback 1 second off of Jay, he's absolutely right. I think understanding your season is very important. As I've completed all my academic work for my PhD, started writing my dissertation, but I lost interest. And as I was losing interest, because so many other things were on my mind to actually apply, because once I get it, being in a position to actually utilize it is something different. So my mentors, they're like, Bree, you need to get this done. I understand, but I want you to be okay with me being happy with my timing, because this is more important to me to be able to do those things that I need to do. So for me, I actually came into IT. I'm gonna be brutally honest. The reason I went into IT, it was right at 1999. I went into IT because I wanted to make money. I ain't gonna hide it. And I knew that there was a great opportunity there. I did not know just how challenging it was. And then I had one of my managers, he gave me, I think, the most sound advice. I actually had two really one was my professor, Dr. Kim. Andrew Kim, I'll never forget him. Had that suck. And one thing he said, I left the computer science and went to another program that was a lot less stringent and a lot easier to get through the program. And he asked me, he said, what's the matter? You don't like using your mind? And I'm like, what do you mean don't like using my mind? And so after he explained it to me, I'm like, I got it. And so I went right back over into the program and I just began to dig in and find the things that I would really wanted to do. And so going through school, you learn a lot about the computer, you learn a lot about application development. But then, when we got to database, that's where I excelled, because people would ask me questions about C++. I'm like, okay, we do this and Visual Basic, COBOL, and then it's like, but when they asked me about database information, I would sit down and say, okay, let's figure this out. And we would go in, and then that's when, again, I started seeing that, that's where I kind of migrated to. And so that's why I followed the database path within my career. It was quite extensive, a lot of work, a lot of challenges, a lot of long hours, you know, being on call. A lot of times you're doing 24/7 support, and you know, there's a lot to do to keep that up. But I think for the most part, I always helping people and finding solutions was something that always gave me a thrill. And the reason I really got into it was I bought my first computer, and I was doing something, and I went into the BIOS and I deleted something I wasn't supposed to delete. Well, I pulled out the books, I started going through the books, and this was probably about 8 o'clock in the evening. At 3:46 a.m., I had put this code in that they said to put in. I hit enter, and it worked. I went through the house running and screaming. Everybody thought I had lost my mind, thought somebody had broken the house. And so I knew I had a passion for this. And so that's kind of where I followed along and really built my career to go into the technology base. And it's been really very rewarding, very enjoying, and I've had a lot of fun doing it.